Welcome to Global Truth Podcast with Dr. Nasir Baig. For the past several months, we've been consistently tracking and warning our viewers about a rising, dangerous tide across the Western Hemisphere, the weaponization of anti-immigration sentiment. What began as a political rhetoric in election corridors has rapidly transformed into real-world street-level violence. And this week, we have witnessed one of the most terrifying displays of this phenomenon yet. The historic city of Belfast in Northern Ireland has erupted. What started as an outcry over a localized crime has degenerated within 48 hours into a terrifying systematic wave of racism, arson, and street-level thuggery. Tonight, we break down what happened, how a city became a combat zone, and the global digital forces that fanned the flames. To understand the gravity of the situation, we must look first at the terrain. The island of Ireland sits in the Northern Atlantic just west of Great Britain. Politically, it is divided into two. The southern part is the independent Republic of Ireland, while the northern part, the northeastern part, Northern Ireland, where Belfast is located, is part of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland has a modest population of roughly 1.9 million people. Historically, this region has been shaped by its own deep-seated internal tensions. But in recent years, its demographic landscape has subtly shifted. While immigrants and ethnic minorities make up a relatively small percentage of the population, around 6% to 14%, depending on the specific urban district, they have become essential to the local economy, working as healthcare professionals, carers, and small business owners. Yet, this small percentage has been increasingly targeted by a vocal extremist minority. So, what exactly triggered this week's explosion? It began on Monday night, June 8, 2026, on Kinnaird Avenue in North Belfast. A horrific, unprovoked attack took place. A 44-year-old local disabled man, Stephen Ogilvie, was brutally attacked, leaving him with deep wounds and blinded in his left eye. Bystanders bravely intervened to fight. They fought off the attacker until law enforcement arrived. The Police Service of Northern Ireland, or PSNI, arrested a 30-year-old suspect at the scene and identified as Hadi al-Udaid. In the initial chaotic hours of the investigation, rumors ran rampant. Police initially misstated his nationality as Somali, but it was later confirmed that he is a Sudanese refugee who entered the UK in 2023 with legal status to remain until 2028. Though the victim's family explicitly released a statement pleading for calm, stating that this horrific crime should not be used to incite violence, their words were completely ignored. Almost immediately, the machinery of the far right swung into action. What was an isolated criminal act was instantly weaponized to collectively scapegoat an entire community. Messages spread like wildfire across closed networks like WhatsApp and X. Commands were issued: wear dark clothes, be prepared to fight or be arrested. By Tuesday evening, June 9th, peaceful protests dissolved into outright hooliganism and racism. Masked mobs, dressed entirely in black, took the streets of Belfast, chanting "foreigners out" and "kill all Muslims." The violence quickly resembled what local lawmakers have described as modern-day pogrom. Mobs went door to door in residential neighborhoods, aggressively kicked in doors and windows to identify houses occupied by immigrants. At least 3 residential homes, a Middle Eastern supermarket, a public glider bus, and dozens of private vehicles were set ablaze and burnt to ashes. In a chilling throwback to darker times, eyewitnesses and journalists reported that rioters set up illegal checkpoints, street checkpoints, stopping cars and checking the skin color of the occupants before deciding whether to let them pass or not. The human cost of these 2 nights of madness is staggering. At least 27 people, including a Ukrainian refugee family, Ugandan carers, and many others, have been burnt out of their residences and made entirely homeless. In one terrifying rescue, police and neighbors had to extract a 2-month-old infant from a burning building. The present state in Belfast remains incredibly tense. On Wednesday night, June 10th, the violence escalated further as rioters used sledgehammers to break up paving stones and tear down bricks from property walls to use as weapons against law enforcement. The authorities' response has been forceful but strained. The PSNI deployed riot squads, armored Land Rovers, and water cannons to disperse the crowds, bringing in 200 additional officers and requesting mutual aid from other UK police officers. Northern Ireland's First Minister Michelle O'Neill condemned the riots as nothing less than disgusting cowardice and thuggery. Yet, beneath the police sirens, a deep shadow of fear has fallen over Belfast. Immigrant families, business owners, and ethnic minorities are trapped inside their homes, terrified for the safety of their children and properties, wondering if their address will be the next to be targeted. There are some fresh but disturbing updates coming directly from the ground, reporting that 30-year-old suspect Hadi Al-Udaid has formally appeared in a Belfast court via video link. Investigators revealed a heartbreaking detail. The victim, Stephen Ogilvy, actually knew his attacker and had previously been helping him adjust to his new accommodation in their shared residential building. Meanwhile, the ripples of this violence are no longer confined to Belfast. A critical tipping point was reached when a targeted hit list containing the private home addresses of local immigrants was circulated across social media platforms. A move the police have declared a severe criminal offense. As the fear deepens, the disorder has officially spread outwards. Riots and petrol bomb attacks have now broken out in surrounding areas like Newton Abbey and Carrickfergus, where 2 police officers were seriously injured by firebombs last night. Even more alarming, far-right networks have successfully weaponized this event across the Irish Sea, with parallel anti-immigrant protests now breaking out in Glasgow and Edinburgh in Scotland, showing just how rapidly this contagion is moving. But we must ask ourselves, how did a local stabbing in North Belfast turn into a coordinated multi-city riot within 24 hours? The answer lies in the digital ecosystem of the West, heavily influenced by US-based and international anti-immigrant agitators. Immediately following the attack, high-profile far-right figures alongside powerful algorithms amplified unverified footage and inflammatory rhetoric. Tech billionaires like Elon Musk, who commands one of the largest megaphones in the world on X, alongside British populist figures, shared the news while calling for mass resistance. By allowing unchecked disinformation to trend globally and by framing localized crime as part of a civilizational war. These digital platforms acted as a massive accelerant. Mobs on the ground in Belfast were actively fueled by the digital validation of global influencers, turning local anxieties into an international far-right crusade. This leaves us with a critical question regarding the future. Is the Belfast explosion a one-off incident that will eventually die down as police reclaims the streets? Or is this a terrifying blueprint, a model of localized unrest that will systematically spread to all parts of Europe? The reality lies in a dangerous middle ground. While the physical riots in Belfast will likely be suppressed by heavy policing in the coming days, the underlying mechanism is highly sustainable and easily replicated. We saw similar anti-immigrant rioting in Southampton, England just last week, and in Northern Ireland itself during the summer of 2025. The Belfast model proves that any local crime, if horrific enough, can be instantly hijacked by international digital networks, hypercharged by algorithms, and translated into street violence within hours. Unless Western governments address both the real-world anxiety surrounding integration and housing and the virtual impunity of digital platforms that monetize hate. The tragedy we are watching in Belfast tonight will not be an isolated event. It will be a recurring preview of Europe's near future. We will keep a close eye on whatever is happening as far as anti-immigration is concerned, Islamophobia is concerned. Meanwhile, you take good care of yourself until we see each other next time. Take good care of yourself.